I think you have to be honest with yourself because, as I always say, honesty is the best pole dancer. Okay, we're on turn number 12, on with Germany, and we've got to admit to our mistakes. Whether they're mistakes when you haven't spent a supply, when they're mistakes when you've maybe flown a plane too far or haven't counted the right number of dice, yes, they're mistakes that happen during the game. But when they're mistakes that you've made tactically, when you think you thought them out and realize that you haven't done, they annoy you a little bit. But I think you have to be honest with yourself because, as I always say, honesty is the best pole dancer. The big mistakes we made was getting those 11 guys into the convoy zone here without any kind of air cover, without any navy cover, hoping that the guys would actually land into Tunis and help protect it and save the day for the Germans. It was a horrible idea. I mean, the attack from the Brits hitting them with a couple of fighters and a destroyer against the naked transport ships was a nasty move by the Brits, but we kind of invited them. But we are repeating the same mistake, partly. We're going to be buying a couple of fighters and some infantry to cover it. We should have put the fighters in there last time round. We probably wouldn't be in this kind of mess if we'd have done that. So as far as moving forward is concerned, we can advance our convoys. Just the two guys there that left Stuttgart or Eindhoven. That's all the guys that make it into Tunis. We are ashamed of that. We're purchasing a couple of fighters. We get 4 infantry, I believe it is. It's not a lot, but it's more than nothing, and some supplies. We were thinking about using these guys here in Constantine, just enough guys to hit Algiers. It was a very, very tight attack. We would be going in behind and hoping for some absolute magical dice rolls, which is probably not the best way of approaching an attack, but we would be able to grab all those supplies and some trucks and knock out all the guys that are in there. Yeah, we'd have nothing left. More of those guys from Iran that land in there would just bash us back far too easily. However, we're going to be hitting Kazarine Pass with all these guys bar one who's going to stay behind to set off those mines should anybody come through this way. We're using the 2 guys here that have come through off of the convoys and this one artillery gun, but we're not using the Stuka. We're going to be, even though it's really bad in defence, we're going to be needing that in our Tunis convoy zone. We hope to get a final dissuasion of the fleets that are in there. The other bits and pieces, which will be down in the Mersebrega Alagira border, which is down there, will be just a Germans going into reverse and making Alagira the big stronghold for the next couple of rounds, we would hope. So let's just start throwing some dice at this battle up here with me head in gear, we hope. I've allocated the supplies for these guys. That's 2 for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, and there's a supply here for the flanking unit on this side. And we got the 1 American supply that's come out of the Algiers supply bin. And we can start throwing dice at this. So, for the guys coming in from Constantine, we might as well just roll that 1 scout car that goes in at a 2. It's not that heavy, and it misses really badly. I'm going to just pull him straight backwards to remind us we don't use him next time round. Should we get a next attack out of it? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2, getting that bonus there from that side. So we do 4 dice at 3s and 2 dice at 2. That's the infantry artillery and then naked infantry. And we have scored 3 hits out of that. That's pretty good. I think they'd be happy enough with that start of that attack. So 1, 2, and then 1 infantry guy there. So remember it's 3. And then over from this side with rerolls, we have infantry artillery, which will give us 2 at 3 and 1 at 2 from a naked infantry. And we get a reroll and 1 hit out of it. So that would be 4 hits. I'm going to put the dice on 4 because I'm going to forget, that's for sure. And 1 reroll. And that misses. So a 4th guy comes out of it, which would be that 2nd infantry guy there. It's just going to leave a whole load of artillery for the Americans later on. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice, all at 3s for the American-French defence. And it's a poor roll for them. They've just scored the one hit. I'm looking at the tray twice. It's just one hit. We can handle that. I think we'll even take it on that retreating scout car because we can do that. That guy's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can definitely think about a secondary attack now into there. It's now whether we use the same kind of bunch of guys there or a slightly adjusted mix. I think I'm going to adjust that mix because we're not short of supplies in Tunis, but we are fractionally short. We've got one coming in, but that's going to go in the Tripoli convoy zone. We hope it'll be a little bit easier to keep hold of. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3 guys there. So I should change that chip. For 3, that means we're only spending 1 supply from Constantine, and we spend another supply. Sorry, it's not the reroll one. 1 supply from this side to give us that flanking bonus again. Now the Americans, I think they want to keep hold of the Kasserine Pass, but I don't think they're going to retreat from there. I think that they're going to stand and fight for that because it is at that landing point, as we said. And if they can take loads off of the Germans here, it's all the better for the future. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 at 3s and 1 at 2s for the Constantine attack. That's a smasher of a hit, that is, isn't it? That's 4 hits. We have to do no more than that. That is all those artillery pieces knocked out. Wow. So, American defence in there. All at 3s and scoring just the 1 hit. That is absolutely superb. We're now thinking, why didn't we roll those dice against Algiers? Well, we didn't do. So all those guys go, and one of these guys go from either of these 2 places. I think it's going to be from Constantine. Yeah. That is the end of the attack in here. We spent all these supplies. And we have to move in. Guys that got involved in the battle, so there's not that many, but yeah, that is pretty good. That is pretty good. I like that. So as I said, there's going to be some reversing from Merseburger into Al-Algira, and we're going to put these guys into the Tunis convoy zone and the supplies into Tripoli in the deploying reinforcements, and then put that plane out there as well. Let me tidy all this up, and I'll see you on the British turn. Okay, we're on with the Brits in turn number 12, and we're going to be cutting their turn short dramatically and probably ignoring the Italian turn entirely. The Italians aren't going to be getting involved in any combat whatsoever. It's going to be just really non-com movements for them and obviously their reinforcements, etc. With the Brits, however, we were thinking about, once we advanced their convoys into Iran, bringing the bombers and the 2 destroyers into the Tunis convoy zone, and I'm repeating that same gag from last turn of beating up the Germans before they can land. However, it's likely to be an expensive attack for them because of these now 2 defensive units that are in here, and Germany's going to escape a couple of units from combat, if not once but twice, and it will really just be an economic bit of damage to the Germans more than an actual physical units being bashed there. The other thing is that we could only land our bombers really here into Iran afterwards, which would then block off the landing spaces for the Americans in there. If we put them into the mortar base there, because we can get 2 units into there, they would be vulnerable to that Italian bomber that's over there, hitting at a 6, and the British bombers defending it, well, virtually nothing. So I think what we're going to be doing instead, on the British turn, is taking the 2 bombers that will be in here into Constantine, bashing these 2 guys there, getting rid of any kind of flanking possibilities that the Germans might have, unless they start bringing more units into a place that's got no value to them apart from strategically. Then we can land the bombers back into Casablanca, get them out of the way, and clear up the space into Iran for the Americans. A long explanation, but that's really where we're getting to. And the attack that they're going to be doing down into Mersa Brega, well, it's just overwhelming. There's no way that these three poor Italian guys are going to do anything other than explode one of these mines if they come in from Behr Hashim, and really just fall over very quickly. So I'll get all the British and the Italian turns done and see you properly when we get round to the Americans, probably having a bash again at Kasserine Pass, keep butting their head against that brick wall. I'll see you then. Okay, just to tidy up there from the British and the Italian turns, because they were locked in combat here in Mersa Brega, not for very long. The Italian mines were absolutely useless, scored no hits, and their infantry were next to useless, scoring just one hit. The Brits are flooding through into Mersa Brega, attacking Alagira next turn, we think. Moving over to the main cut and thrust of the action, as quietly as we can, and sit myself down in my chair. The garden looks a lot more rosy for the Axis forces than I was first thinking that they were going to be. I mean, we didn't take our foot off the gas as far as the Allies were concerned. We didn't attack the convoy. There was, we think, economic reasons for that, with what Germans would escape from there anyway. Was that a bad move? Could we use the bombers into there and make that attack? Well, it's a bit too late now to keep double thinking ourselves. We did try to attack this Constantine region here, nullifying those mines or forcing the Axis to put units into Constantine when they didn't particularly want to. And, well, the two Germans there defended stoutly. 2 at 3 versus 2 at 6, and it was a score draw. The Germans are gone, but so were the two British bombers. An expensive loss for them. I'm regretting that decision now, but it's too late. Since then, the Italians have filled in from Tunis into there. They filled into Kasserine Pass, and they've moved into Alawed in a fairly threatening manner. The thinking is, because down here in Alagira is quite tight, there's no way the Brits are coming through and getting as far as Mareth. They might get as far as Tripoli, but we can move these guys from Mareth back into Tripoli again, should we be thinking that they might get that far. The Italians now in Alawed can threaten the Goat and possibly threaten Algiers afterwards. But we still think, as the Allied player, we've got enough punch in us to hit the Kasserine Pass again, and maybe Constantine as well. If we split up our guys in Algiers, use our air units diligently, then I think we can get enough punch to take Constantine and Kasserine Pass out of the equation, albeit with some expensive losses there in Constantine, and hitting the convoy zone in Tunis with our two brave destroyers there that the Brits didn't want to do last time round. We think we have to do it now. Very unsubtle purchase. Once we've done our advanced convoys, unsubtle purchase for the Americans, hitting them big and heavy with tanks and artillery. That's, maxing out our purchase on there, and we've got enough supplies, we think, to carry us through now, perhaps to the end of the game. So let me get the attacks up on the board and all the advanced convoys done, and I will see you when we start rolling some dice. Okay, hold on to your socks. It's going to come at you fast and furious and big and bad. Start off in the convoy zone Tunis, where we have two American destroyers rolling in at 4s and scoring one hit out of that. So I think initially the Germans take that damage onto their one Stuka. And in reply from that, the Stuka goes in at a lowly 2. Scores a hit. Oh, nice. And the two 109s defend at 5s. Wow, would you Adam and Eve it? That's just completely smashed the Americans out of the convoy zone. The Brits should have done the job. They were nasty before they worked, but they all come off the board. That's done. Moving down now into the Constantine battle, we've allocated the supplies for both sides. We're going to explode this mine, or 2 mines first. We're going to get those Americans pushed back from there. We're going to have 6 dice, all defending at 3s. Try to favour this one big attack, and if we can get enough guys pushed back from there, any defensive hits by these Italians are going to go on to the expensive air units. That's the hope anyway, as far as the Axis player is concerned. So at 3s, they've pushed back 4 units. Man alive, the mines are starting to work in the wrong direction this time. It's going to take out, we think, really, we'll take it on the 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry and just the 1 artillery that's left there. Wowee. So let me just grab a piece from the box. That's, yeah, way over the top there. Those 2 mines have exploded. That's going to hurt a little bit. Once again, my fingers don't work on these little tiny mines. So we're now going to get the attack from the American bomber. Goes in at a 6. Scores a hit. Nice, that's 1. The fighter goes in at a 4. Misses. And the 1 artillery at a 3. Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough by a long chalk. So one of those Italian guys has been defunct. Let's grab 4 dice for those guys. They are all defending at 2s. And scoring 2 hits out of it. Wowee! So we're going to have to lose the artillery piece and the fajita. Yeah, that attack's over. We're not continuing with that. We've got to lose that one guy here who's Italian. Wow, yeah. What was spectacularly good before is now spectacularly bad. For the Americans anyway. Let's hope that we can get a better attack here as far as the American player is concerned into a Kasserine Pass. Lots of bombers, some flanking attacks from these tanks and some infantry artillery going in. Maybe I should have concentrated my attacks all into one place rather than splitting it up into 2s, but it's too late now. Let's there's no mines to explode. Let's start off with the 1 American bomber at a 6. It misses. 2 fighters go in at 4s. Score 1 hit out of it. Then we have infantry artillery. It's 2 of them. We'll go in at 3s. Score 1 hit. And then 3 guys were running there naked. And score 1 hit out of that. So we're now left with the Hermann Shermans. 2 guys coming in here that get flanking bonuses. Well, you use grey dice for this now. They're hitting at 5s. And score 1 more hit. So that's 4 of the Germans in there straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be all the infantry, or perhaps 3 of those and 1 of the Italian guys. So let me just do that. So we try to remember everything. And roll their defences. So they will get 1, 2, 3, 4 at 3, 5, 6, 7 at 3. And the Italian guy goes in at 1 number less, doesn't he? So 7 at 3. And we have scored, there's a cocky die there. It's going to fall on the 10, I think. Yeah. So they scored 2 hits straight away. Plus there's going to be 1 guy at 2, which is that Italian guy, lonely guy in there. He misses. So I have now completely forgotten how many hits Germany scored. I think it was just the 1. Let me stop the tape and make sure I get that one right. Yeah, it was 2 hits there. So we're going to lose 2 Americans from here. So that 3 becomes a 1. These 4 guys get taken away. And we can think about a second attack. That supply's been burnt, that supply's been burnt, as has that one. I'm starting to think that was a bridge too far. It was, yeah, we split ourselves up too much there, and we don't want to leave ourselves too weak in Algiers, but I can't see the Germans coming forward. Big and brave, let's go again. 2 more supplies, 1 for the flanking crew and 1 for the main crew, and Germany going to spend a supply in defence of that because they got a good chance of defending there. yeah, they're not going to lose Kasserine Pass easily. So the American bomber goes in at a 6, scores a hit this time. 2 fighters at 4s, score 1 more hit. We do the 2 Hermann Shermans from the side this time, re-rolling at 8s and both missing and no re-rolls on there. And now we've got 2 guys at 3s, infantry artillery, missing, and 1 at 2. Doesn't save the day, I'm afraid. Just 2 more casualties for the Germans. So it'll be those 2 guys there. 1, 2, 3, 4 dice at 3. Trying to say to the Americans, get off my land. And scored 2 more hits. Wow, that's the end of it. We can't carry on forward with that. That's just utterly horrible. Let me just tidy everything up from there and get the reinforcements on the board, non-comp done. I'll see you at the end when I've got everything tidied up, ready for the end of the round. Okay, that's it. That's the Americans all on the board and their non-com movements done. And there's a few regrets in my mind. I'm wondering whether we didn't buy the big and heavy tanks early enough, and we've now bought them too heavy, too late. But, you know, it's been a game of regrets. The German tactic of putting all those cheap units into Tunis convoys and then losing the majority of them. The nasty attack by the Brits that wiped them all out, or by a couple. But it has made for me anyway, a very entertaining game. I hope you're enjoying it too. Off-the-cuff movements rather than being too desperately thought out can bring you some nice and nasty surprises. And I think that turn 13, turn 14, when the game ends, may just see us with an Axis minor victory. Tripoli is going to be the point where the Axis are trying to hang on to. The Allies, I don't think, are going to get into there. So it's all up in the air, all ready to come out in the wash. I will see you on turn number 13, coming up sometime shortly. Till then, be cool.